Hello, we're back at Apidays. You are now in the main track on large organization change with APIs or API-driven change for large organizations. And I'm really glad to have our first speaker who will join us. He's David Lepicier. He's global data and analytics director at Pernod-Ricard, the famous liquor company. But we will see they're also a tech company, and he will tell the story about data-driven journey at Pernod-Ricard. Hello, David, how are you?
Hello, Mehdi. Fine. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be part of this adventure.
We're really glad to have you. Are you able to share your slides with us? That's perfect. And yes, the stage is yours for 20 minutes. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Mehdi. So today we're going to talk about the data-driven journey at Pernod-Ricard. So the agenda for today is going to be the following. We're going to have a quick overview of the company. Afterwards, I will deep dive on the data science program that we have been started since 2 years now. We'll go a bit deeply on the organization, on how we made it possible, and I'll try to sum up some conclusion with you, and of course try to have at least 5 minutes to answer any question you may have. All right. So Pernod Ricard is the number 2 worldwide wine and spirits company in the world. We are present in 73 companies, and we have around 80,500 employees across the globe. So, of course, you may say why an FMCG company is talking during a tech event, and that's a very good question. I'll try to answer afterwards, because even if we are not a tech company, we embark on a journey which need a lot of tech resources, tech knowledge that we have been developed. And we came from a company where I would say 10 years ago when I joined, there were not much people able to develop tech solutions within the company. Into now, I would say globally as an organization, more than 100 people able to deep dive on this topic. And as I'm going to see, we are recruiting more and more people. So feel free to talk afterwards if you find it interesting. To talk about our brands, when we see it, we might think, yes, it's great. Pernod Ricard is leading the industry. We have some strategic brands, like for example, Absolut or Jameson, which are sold in all the markets across the globe, which is great. We have also some luxury, prestige, specialty brands, and also strategic brands. For example, Ricard in French, which is very present in Europe, but a bit less around the world. So the thing is that when you see it as a digital chief digital officer, you might say it's great to have all these brands, but how I'm going to be able to push it in all our markets? And the thing is that for us, it's something we'll try to crack with digital, is how to make sure that all our sales and marketing teams has efficient solution to be able to push more brand within the market. That's a starting point of this journey. So I just want to talk briefly about our new headquarters that we have been, which is, I would say, live since 2 years now. We are in the central of Paris, in Saint-Lazare. It's a brand new establishment that we have built in order to create more synergies within our companies, because we are around 1,000 people there, and also a way to attract new talents, because we clearly identify that it's important to have this. So I'll try to sum up what happened since 2015 and today. In 2015, when I initially worked on this data platform journey, we'll try to set up a portal to help affiliates and users jump on programs, understand what data was available. And well, as you can see, it was really a mock-up and not much people were going there. And it triggers a lot of effort for us to define how to display this information. In 2017, well, we started to have some developers there. We started to, but mostly our teams had not much traction within the group. In 2018, as you can see, there is a big switch because we managed to create something where we display not only our projects, but all the Pernod-Ricard projects there. And we create what we call a data portal, where we have put all the resources, all the data resources available for the group. We'll try to publish some dashboards, some analysis. In 2019, we are about to have, we were having more than 2,500 users and almost 250 people a day connected. And in the same way, we were creating inside Pernod Ricard what we call a developer portal, where we find all the APIs linked to all our systems. So every time we developed, for example, a consumer database or a database on all the wine and spirits accessing globally with different sources. Well, every time we were trying to develop this API and make everybody in the company using it. So the problems that we had at that time is even if from a tech perspective, we were starting to be good because we had platforms, we have good APIs, they were documented, they were shared across the group within all the IT teams. Big issue is that the ROI and the sponsorship were still very low. And in fact, we work on many different use cases, but even if at some stage we had some traction with some sponsors, it was always a problem we wanted to scale, and it was difficult. And that's why we changed a lot when we decided to go back to our sponsor and have a new approach. And what we did is that we went up from 80 projects to only 3. So what we did to make it happen is that we went to our bureau executive, so really our CEO plus his direct reports. We explained to them all these opportunities, all the projects we were doing, and we asked them, for you, what should we do? And what we tried to do is to build up a simple graph saying all the ROI potential that we think you may have on this project, and this is the difficulty to make it. And these 3 programs are the most complex one to do, but bring the most value of Pernod Ricard. So I try to summarize what they are about. The first one is called Matrix internally. It's a marketing mix modeling program that we have built up, where we take all the campaigns, all the past previous campaigns that we have. So, for example, in France, all the marketing campaign in the streets, we'll try to see how we have allocated this campaign within television, newspaper, or on the streets, or social media, for example, and we try to see how we spend it across all brands. We cross it with all the sales that we have, and we identify the opportunity to invest sometimes much more or sometimes reduce our investment across all these brands. And the idea for us behind this is to enable new brands to be pushed on the market. It's really a behind the scene, a very tech program because we use Bayesian statistic, which is well, quite difficult to implement. It's difficult also to have something that's being able to get scale. And therefore, we need to have data scientists and engineers, data analysts working together to make this program happen. I'll go afterwards on how we are organized, but this is clearly a complex program for us, but for marketing, it brings a lot of value because it saves us lots of time on decision making on where to invest. And from what we saw, we clearly it's been live now in more than a year in some markets, and we clearly see a huge gain in the efficiency that we have invested our money because as a group for Pernod Ricard, we invest more than 1 billion euro each year on marketing campaigns. The second program that we have is about how we allocate our promotion. So you might imagine that as an FMCG company, we do promotion every day. Like for example, €1 of temporary price reductions and absolute bottle. So every time we do it, we would try to capture what is the return of investment of this campaign. promotion campaign. And as we are doing a lot, it was very difficult for commercial team to do it systematically. Because if you do, for example, in Spain, more than 300 promotion campaign each year on each brand, on each supermarket, it's very difficult to track which one managed to have a positive uplift, meaning that you sold enough bottle in this promotion that you funded your investment. So that's why we have been able to deploy again a huge data science program behind, where we automatically detect all the ROI promotion with ROI negative, and we try to do some optimization and some push for the commercial team, saying this brand is not, this promotion is not working effectively. We recommend you to switch, for example, the seasonality. Instead of doing it in Christmas, you do it, for example, in summer. And that's how we help them. But clearly, we are doing only 50% of the job. I mean, by doing this algorithm in data science, we only do 50% because the rest is it's meant to be done by commercial team, where they need to understand how it has been built, why we built this model, why the model is recommended these promotions. And in the reality, some of the promotion or the new promotion mechanics that we are talking about, some are feasible in the real world because you can negotiate with this deal with retailers. Some are not applicable, and that's why we are very linked to commercial team, and our data scientists work very closely with them. And that's why we put this new data science team within commercial and marketing department rather than IT, because we wanted to have this close relationship. Of course, we still have within IT a whole data engineering part and a whole platform side where we have people using the public cloud to have technologies like Snowflake, Databricks, or Azure or AWS leverage when we need it, because clearly to make this program scalable, we needed to have this kind of technologies. And then we're going to talk about the next one, which is D-Star. The D-Star is actually how to send effectively our sales rep on the field. So using social network, we are being able to find all the bars and establishments which could be relevant to us. For example, we can detect some bars which opened and have a huge presence on social media. We can, in some markets, have some retailers selling us the data, and we can identify some opportunities for us, like in some categories. And what we try to do is, in some markets also, is to do some geo optimization and say to a sales rep, this is all the establishments you could visit today, because we optimize your route. You will be able to visit 7 stores instead of 5 because you save so much time in your tool. That's a bit, I would say, a bit of an introduction of all this program. What is important is that they are ROI driven, and it's going to take us between 2 to 3 years to deploy it for all the top 20 markets of Pernod-Ricard. The way we are doing it is a bit using this analogy. So we have on the left a PMO team dedicated to monitor the return of investment of all the projects. We have what we call the data center of excellence team, still on the left, which is sits within IT, which working, I would say, more on the tech side, on the platform side, and they are delivering to us as a data science team all the technological assets to perform our work. And us as data science team, so we have different profiles working on all this cocktail of data science. We have also built up a new role internally, which we call deployment manager, which is kind of internal consultant that engage with the markets, understand their need, and working very closely for data science to deployment. So we are sitting in the same team to make sure that we are able to understand really what markets problematics are, engage with the KD, and find the right people to help us on it. And because our internal clients are marketing, sales, and IT so far, but we know that we have more programs to come on finance and operation afterwards. And we have also what we call KDP owners in the central of this picture, which are, I would say, the sponsors and the one who define the value that we need to go. It's also where we sit our product owner of all this solution. It has been a big shift from us to switch from a project to a product organization. We are getting more and more mature, even if we know that there are still things that we don't do correctly, but it's better and better each day. To talk briefly about the team, in data science, we have, in data analytics, that's what we call our team internally. We have different profiles. We have senior data scientists, which are people with at least 8 to 10 years of experience in data science who drive all the projects we discuss with our sponsors. We organize all our programs. We have data scientists, which people within our team who are, I would say, very curious on the different business area, good knowledge on math and statistics, and also know how to code our programs in Python. But we don't have them to be tech expertise. It's more something that we ask for ML engineers within the team, and we try to have something like 1 or 2 ML engineers for 5 data scientists to make sure that what we develop is scalable, it's in good shape, and that we are able to not drown into too much technical debt. We have also what we call data analysts, people very close to a business team, trying to, I would say, on the input part, analyze the data that we have, because sometimes, as you may know, it's difficult if you don't have good quality of data to make this program, and also at the end to test, discuss with the market, make sure that everything is good. We have also onboarded what we call digital product designers, so people to work on UX and UI of all these products, and data stewards, because we'll try to make better and better all the data quality that we have. We are still hiring, so if you want to be part of this adventure, don't hesitate to send me your CV afterwards. I will forward it to your teams. To be short on the next slide, in our model, what we do is that it's very important that we have good interaction with business. So we'll try to work as much as possible with lots of iteration. You could say agile ways, yes, but really the key thing is to have lots of iteration with them to understand if what we do is really bringing value for them. The platform side sits within IT, and we are working well with them. And working on the data is, well, something that's very difficult. And for some of our projects, we spend more than 50 to 100 days just to make sure that we have a good quality of data to make our programs happen. It was a key success. So first, we decided to have Pernod-Ricard solution. So it's really something that we build up with our own team because we thought we think it's a competitive advantage as a company to have it internally. We always try to have a ROI mindset, make sure that this program are well funded, and the engagement of affiliates is very key success for us. As I said, it's really something that for us is important to have compared to our competitors because we identify that all these 3 programs is big assets for us. We have built up big data science capabilities. We are ranked to number 6 in terms of data science capabilities versus size across all the FMCG companies. And so that's why we are getting more and more serious in this, and we try to have best-in-class data production engine. The good thing is that we work on the tech stack before starting this program, and that's why it was an easy thing for us on the tech side, even if it's a big challenge on business and adoptions, like many data science programs. So to summarize how to make this shift, I would say that even if we start from the profit size and we identify profit for all this program, afterwards, for our team, it's more a purpose. It's what is the purpose of this program for marketing teams, for commercial teams, how it's going to sell their day. We try to have at least as possible hierarchical environment, meaning that it's more a network. Sometimes we have freelancers which has lots of experience who manage our internal team, and for us it's okay because if you bring value, if you know how to make this program, it's not a matter on how you are placed into the hierarchies, but more at what you can bring to the project. And in the same area, it's really about empowering people. We try. I'm one of the true believer in collective intelligence, because I think it's where you can deliver the most value, where it's make you happy to do your work, rather than just having some hierarchical environment with all specification. We should leave room for creativity for people, and it's in line with the next thing, which is experimentation. All this program can't be done if you specify everything. You need to be close. You need to test. You need to fail. You need to ask people to use your solution, even if sometimes you're not confident about the result, but you need to see it. You need to try on small species. I remember the time, for example, on promotions. Well, we have some people who are not convinced on putting promotion on champagne in summer rather than Christmas, because that's what they were doing for the past 20 years. Well, they did it at some stage. They find it sometimes good, sometimes it was failing, but it's really all the data science program is all about experimentation. And the last thing is about transparency. We try to, as much as possible, to explain when we are confident, when we are not, what we do, why sometimes it's difficult, why these data topics are difficult, why sometimes our model failing. It's very important. Otherwise, you can't have a safe room to develop it. And I think I'm finished, and now I will take your questions for the 5 upcoming minutes. Does someone have the first question?
Yeah, someone is asking, is it a company or a party? It seems that you have some fun. Someone is asking
Yeah,
that.
so that's a very good question. So it's actually the motto of our company, conviviality. It's what we try to do as a group. We try to put people in place where they spend a good time and good events and enjoying our brand respectfully. So yes, we'll try to make it as a party, and as much party, it's not very well organized. But if you have the good mindset and everyone is able to find his place, it's work effective.
Yeah, and there's a great article from the Financial Times who showed that drinks, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but drinks gathering is actually the first social network. So yeah, it makes total sense. One question is about the how do you calculate the outputs of your initiative? Like, how do you measure the impact of what you do in terms of business? Like, how do you link the digital journey and digital transformation with sales or with efficiency at the end?
Okay, so this ROI calculation is always a big thing and difficult journey for all data science team, I would say. And the way we did it is first we did a very top-down approach. So we calculate a big ROI, and the way we calculate it is different for each program. For example, on marketing campaigns, we know that we have more than 1 billion euro of marketing campaigns each year. We say to we engage to our BRX saying we could at least optimize 5% of this total amount. And it gave us a room for investment. And afterwards, when we deploy, we tested it, trying to figure out if we are closer to 0 or to 10%. At some time we are at 2%, sometimes we are at 7%, but it's where we are measuring it progressively. But you can't be very precise at start. So you need to take some risks there, and that's how we try to do it.
Yeah. How big is your team today, the tech team at Pernod-Ricard?
So in terms of data science, we are more than 50 now, from data scientists, ML engineers, data analysts, and senior data scientists. And it's still growing because we initially thought of doing 2 markets a year, but we are more than between 5 to 7 markets each year. So we needed to scale the team to scale our program.
Yeah. Maybe one last question for the last minute we have. More about like the technology. So and how internally, let's say, the spread of this machine, this digital team has spread. Like, how was the relationship with the management? You talk about sponsors a little bit, but how a company like Pernod Ricard installs 50 engineers to on the cultural side?
Yeah, That's actually a very good question. When I started this new journey and starting to hire, I went up to someone in the COMEX asking him, "Is this okay if people don't wear suits? Because lots of people wear suits there, and if you want to make it happen, you're probably gonna have people in t-shirts, probably coding all the day, and it's gonna be a different mindsets that we need to have." Uh, we should not treat differently freelancers to the rest of the employee. Everybody should be empowered with the same task. And we kind of set up the rule at start, and our top management say, okay, guys, we want to make it happen. These rules are very clear, so we'll try to be as open as possible. We try to include people. If you need to do some internal training, which are not about how to sell, but more on how to use Git and how to use tech solutions, go ahead. We'll try to make as space as much as possible. The only rules that we need to have is to keep to a convivial environment and try to have more link between, I would say, commercials, marketing teams, which already exist with these new tech people. And I think it's great in terms of culture. We have younger people now. We have different people from different horizons, from all the nationalities, and the journey is great. Even if the market were a bit reluctant at first, we are now in a point where they call us to have new features, which is always a good sign. I would say the bet is working.
Perfect. Thank you very much, David. We reached the time allocated for us. Yeah, it was great to have you speaking at Apidays, and we'll be glad to invite you again to continue to tell the story of this digital journey. Thank you, David.